Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to RVCCIS.info, the channel where faculty representatives from Rock Valley College's Computers and Information Systems talk to you, our community at large, about things roughly having to do with computers and information systems, unless it's today, in which case we pick to talk about cars. So between, hey there, everybody, we're your hosts, because I always forget, Stephanie Washer and Eric Wolf. And I think we represent really the car contingent here at Rock Valley. I think that's right. Has Chuck even gotten a new car the whole time
he's got a gorgeous 41 Chevy truck.
Okay.
That it's red with the wood side. It's really pretty.
Okay.
Backdrop of every Christmas photo I think he's done. It's gorgeous.
And then Jim, not really. He finally bought a car that was not just an appliance.
Yeah. And he consistently buys Toyotas.
Yeah. So we thought we would spend a little time unwisely here in the last week of classes and let off some steam talking about the favorite cars or the least favorite cars that we have owned. The least favorite isn't going to be that hard.
No, I can tell you right now.
let's do it. Get the hatred out of the way first. That's positive people.
I had a Chrysler Sebring. I was just complaining to you about it. Owned it probably 1.5 to 2 years, and I was like, nope, this has way too many problems. And it was really expensive to fix. And I bought it brand new. So dumb.
So here's the funny thing. My worst car was a Dodge Ram, which is a Chrysler product that I had for I did. I had it for 1.5 years, and it spent at least 6 months in the shop for 3 transmission problems.
Oh yeah, you gotta watch out. Those Dodges do have transmission issues.
Terrible. And it was a fun car because, like, if there was any moisture in the air at all, the rear tires never hooked up. So it was, but I will say it was the most fun because I was probably young enough to be stupid. And I did buy like a catback exhaust for it. And it was so loud that Erin said she could hear me coming from like 1/3 of a mile away.
I want to say that tells our age, Eric. If you say glass bags or something else, it's like, dang, we're old. But it sounded cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and my family's a Mopar family, or my dad is, and my one brother is. So like when I complain about the Chrysler, they are just like not hearing it.
Oh, I am never buying another one again though. It was terrible.
Except my dad had a Hemi Cuda, and that just was the coolest thing ever. So you just think of things like that, and then you do stupid stuff like buy a Chrysler Sebring.
Yeah, instead of my Camry, I I considered buying a Chrysler 300, and then I test drove it, and I'm like, nope, thank you for curing me of that idea, because this is garbage.
Yeah, somebody called it the poor man's Cadillac, and I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense, I suppose. My brother had a Chrysler 300. I think it was a 60 though, and so it was the biggest boat ever, and it was great, but he had that in high school, and I'm sure I think he wrecked it, but it was fun at the time. I think that's my only vehicle that I really totally hated.
I had a VW Jetta that my dad talked me into it, like right out of grad school. You got to get a smaller car, boy. It's going to be better on, the finances. And I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. What I didn't know at the time was to squeeze all 6 feet of me into a VW Jetta was not fun. So I think that one only lasted like 1.5 years, and I was like, I have to get rid of it. And it wasn't the car's fault. It was my fault for being the jolly green frickin' giant. And yeah, not a good one.
Yeah, I always forget about that,
Yeah, if I wasn't careful, like when I would get into the car, I'd hit my head. If I'd get out of the car, I'd hit my head. I had to drive with my shoes off because it didn't fit in the wheel well, or the dead pedal. It was not good.
Yeah. My husband and I were watching the IndyCar race this weekend, and one of the guys had COVID. What was his name? Hamilton had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So his replacement was quite a bit higher, taller than him, and he had to wear smaller shoes because he couldn't fit in. His feet couldn't fit in the pedals, so he had to wear tiny shoes. But anyway, yeah, I don't think. I didn't. My dad I learned on an old Dodge Dakota that
Okay.
was an old farm truck, and you had to steer like this,
Mm-hmm.
and you could just throw it into any gear. Like, so he wanted me to learn stick, and I'm like, I don't know. This is the sloppiest steering and the sloppiest stick I've ever used.
Yep.
But, it served its purpose, I guess. It was the perfect vehicle for a teenager to learn how to drive a stick.
Yeah, and I feel like because I had bought in college like a Nissan truck. It literally didn't have a name. It was just called truck, and that thing had the same thing. There was like 2.5 feet in between first gear and second gear, so you would drive it going like this, and there was no power steering. And I loved that truck because it was stupid fun to drive. And I felt like I got like forearms like Popeye after driving it for a couple of years because you really had to move that thing around.
Oh God, yeah, and you're not gonna hurt it. Any of that stuff. You're not gonna hurt it. That's what my dad always did, was just get us these old beater trucks that we could learn on. And then somebody asked me, "Hey, you gonna drive that truck?" I'm like, "Sure. Who cares?"
Yeah. Yeah, now if you treat a truck like that, you're like, that's $80,000. You're insane.
Yeah, well, that's why I bought the Colorado, because it was a hell of a lot cheaper than the others. So
that's a fact.
Yeah. So what's your favorite?
So I have two favorites, I think. So my previous favorite, I had a 2013 Infiniti MX or M35X, and that was the car I bought before I had to start commuting down to RVC, and it only took premium, and that was the year premium was like $4.58 a gallon, and it had quickly gone from my favorite car ever to my least favorite car ever because of gas. So it was over $200 a week for me to drive down to RVC when I first got there, and I sold it the very next semester I could.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that totally wrecked my experience, but I would buy another one in a heartbeat. That was a fantastic car. Otherwise, I really like my Camry, actually. I bought the cheapest Camry the law will allow, so I bought it like a year after Barrett was born. So I'm like, I can't spend any money anymore. And that thing does great in the snow. I hit a deer and it didn't flinch. In a blizzard, actually, I hit a deer in a blizzard and it didn't flinch. And it gets like 33 miles to the gallon. I love that car, and it's quiet as hell. It's nice. I dig it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you definitely have to think about snow, especially living up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I think my favorite vehicle, let's see, it has to be, I had a supercharged Buick. It's my favorite, and I can't even remember. So it was a Buick. Which one was it? Nah, it escapes me right now, but the problem with it was, so it wasn't totally my favorite. It had like this grill kind of scooped, and it would be, I got stuck out in Kirkland on this curve because it just was like just shoved all the snow right into the radiator. So it was a nice, fun, fast car, but for snow wise, for a car,
yeah,
I had a Malibu that was out of control. It was the best, and it wasn't even all-wheel drive. My Caddy was really good in the snow, but that Malibu, it must have been up just a little bit higher than the Caddy, and it just was, it was a beast in the snow. And I'm sorry, but driving in the snow is a lot of fun when you have a fun car to drive.
Yeah, that's a fact.
No matter what age you are. So And now we'll see. I don't know. I haven't driven I love my truck, but
You
um,
wouldn't think there'd be any issues. I mean, unless it's as bad as my Ram was, in which case that car was, it was so bad. After I sold the Ram, I bought an F-150, and I didn't realize just how bad the Ram was or what a good truck would be like, because like every time it rained, I put it in four-wheel drive just so I could get any traction in the
oh,
Ford. And somebody was like, "Why are you doing that?" I'm like, "It's a truck, man. That's not going to hook up. It's wet outside." And I was like, "Oh my God, this is so much better." And then like even in winter, you would only rarely have to put it in four-wheel, and that Ram was just garbage.
well, and I think it was Fords. My husband would always complain about Fords, and they came with, he's like, they always come with slicks on them. That's
Yeah,
what he says. He's like, yeah, buy new tires because they always come with crap wheels on them. So,
yeah, they were crap tires. They
mm-hmm.
did not last very long at all. But once we got those Duelers off, it was fine. It was good.
Yeah, and I did ask him what his favorite vehicle or his favorite, and he's a truck guy, so his was 88. I think it was the 88 Chevy. I don't know if they had the 2500s back then or what,
Hmm.
but it was just a two-door short box 88 Chevy, and he loved it.
There you
But
go.
it
Those were
rusted.
fantastic. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, the cab corners rusted like every 4 years. It was
hmm.
ridiculous. And he had the cute little red and black. It had the red, he was all proud of it.
Oh, that's awesome. I had an 87 2500 Suburban,
Oh,
and that was so much
neat.
fun. It was such a piece of junk, but
It
uh
lasted forever though, man.
hmm the one I bought sat for years, which was a huge mistake, and I shouldn't have bought it because like every 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 line on that truck was rotted out,
Mm,
but it was a fun truck.
yeah. So if you had all the money in the world and could buy any car, what would you buy?
Oh, it is a I don't it it's essentially the Lexus version of the Land Cruiser, although I would buy a Land Cruiser maybe too. They last forever. They are
Mhm.
opulent, and I would not buy a sports car. I am too zaftig to fit in one of those. There's no way. I ain't doing that. I just want a nice, soft, fantastic ride like that. So I would buy a Lexus, either the 400 series LS or whatever the series is, or their big Land Cruiser. That's what I would buy. And you?
Yeah. So you're gonna laugh, but it would probably be a Grand National. Just because a friend of ours in high school had one, and that thing was just the coolest car.
Mm-hmm.
We loved it. It still is.
Oh yeah.
Sound awesome, they're fast. And we have motorcycles, so it's not like we need a convertible or anything. So
Mm-hmm.
that's probably what would be. Or my husband had a 60 Chevy Biscayne, and I know he kind of misses it, so I'm sure that would be the other one that we would. It was a boat. He called,
Oh yeah.
but it was the guy that bought it from us. Uh, it was all tubbed out, and he painted it black and tinted the windows black. So I'm like, oh man, I'm sure my husband wants it
Yeah, right.
back.
You can never go back. I bought a motorcycle back from somebody once of mine, and I thought I shouldn't have done that
Mm-mm.
because I was, my remembrance of it was nicer than I shouldn't have bought it back.
That's like when you buy a new vehicle. Even my Cadillac, it was so nice. So I went from the Malibu to the Cadillac. Obviously, it was a night and day difference, but it was just, you don't realize the differences in the years. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, this is so nice. Yeah, yeah. And even my Colorado has like heated seats and a heated steering wheel. So it's like it has everything you need anymore.
Yeah.
And the nice ride.
Oh yeah. No, I've got buddies who like if you throw even something that won't scratch the box of their truck into the box of their truck, they're like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 hold on." I'm like, "I know it's 80 grand, man. I didn't throw like razor wire back there. It's a book bag. It's gonna be fine."
Yeah. Meanwhile, we got farmers around us that just treat their
Oh yeah.
$1 million trucks like farm trucks, which is what
Yep.
they are. But
I couldn't do that. I would have a So there you go. After that technical glitch, we'll remind everybody to leave us a comment below on what your favorite or least favorite cars were. This is going to get the most engagement with us, I'm sure, because this is, our students know if you engage us in car talk, we will happily waste probably way too long of a class for that. So leave us a comment below and let us know what your favorite or least favorite cars are. While you're at it, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and that bell to be notified of our new content as it arrives. You can also follow us on social media. We are on Facebook and Twitter and Anchor.fm, and here on YouTube at RVCCIS info. So on behalf of Stephanie and myself, Eric, and the rest of the Rock Valley College community, stay safe and stay sane out there, everybody.